Triple H just burned everything to the ground. Nick Aldis, the man he personally hired to revolutionize SmackDown, got fired 30 minutes ago. The vision, the creative initiative that was supposed to define WWE's next era, has been completely scrapped. And the reason? CM Punk went completely rogue, attacked 3 producers, destroyed a production truck, and walked out of the building while Triple H watched his entire power structure collapse in real time. This isn't a storyline. This isn't fantasy booking. This is the game admitting he lost control of his own company, and the collateral damage is already stacking up bodies. Nick Aldis's career with WWE lasted exactly 4 months before being obliterated because CM Punk decided the rules don't apply to him anymore. And here's the part that should make every wrestling fan's blood boil. Triple H is rewarding Punk's behavior while punishing everyone else who was just doing their jobs. Before we break down exactly what Punk did and why Aldis is taking the fall, I need you to answer this in the comments right now. Is CM Punk destroying WWE from the inside, or is he the only person brave enough to fight a corrupt system? Because your answer to that question determines everything about how you see what just happened. Let's start with the vision, because understanding what it was makes its destruction even more devastating. When Triple H took over creative control, he brought in Nick Aldis specifically to implement a new philosophy. The vision was supposed to be wrestling-focused, long-term storytelling that respected both the performers and the audience. Aldis had complete authority over SmackDown, handpicked by Triple H himself to prove that wrestling could be taken seriously again. For 4 months, it was working. SmackDown ratings were up 18%. Social media engagement was through the roof. Wrestlers were publicly praising the creative direction for the first time in years. The vision wasn't just a concept. It was actually delivering results that justified every bit of faith Triple H had placed in Aldis. Then CM Punk returned to WWE 3 weeks ago, and everything started falling apart. Punk made it clear from day one that he wasn't interested in following anyone's vision except his own. He refused to attend creative meetings. He ignored script changes. He showed up to tapings and did whatever he wanted, consequences be damned. And because he's CM Punk, because he moves ratings and merchandise, management let him get away with it. But Nick Aldis didn't. Aldis believed in structure, in collaboration, in everyone following the same rules regardless of their name value. When Punk no-showed his 3rd consecutive production meeting, Aldis went to Triple H and demanded action. Either Punk follows protocol or he gets suspended. That meeting happened 48 hours ago. Wanna guess who Triple H sided with? Comment below. Should top stars like CM Punk have different rules than everyone else, or should everyone be held to the same standard? This is the fundamental question. Triple H told Aldis to figure it out with Punk directly. So yesterday afternoon, Aldis went to Punk's locker room to have what he thought would be a professional conversation between adults. According to witnesses who were nearby, Aldis knocked on the door, identified himself, and asked for 5 minutes to discuss Friday's show. CM Punk opened the door, looked Aldis dead in the eye and said, "I don't work for you. I don't answer to you. And if you knock on my door again, we're going to have a very different kind of conversation." Then he slammed the door in Aldis's face while half the locker room watched. That humiliation should have been enough. That blatant disrespect of authority should have triggered immediate consequences. But nothing happened. Aldis went back to his office, fuming, while Punk got ready for his segment like he hadn't just completely undermined the entire creative structure. Here's where it escalates to the point of no return. During last night's SmackDown taping, CM Punk was scheduled for a 15-minute promo segment. Creative had given him bullet points, key phrases to hit, specific talent to mention to set up future programs. Standard stuff that every wrestler deals with. Punk came out and immediately went completely off script. He didn't just deviate slightly. He ignored the entire plan and cut a 30-minute shoot promo attacking WWE management, the creative process, and specifically called out people playing Booker who've never drawn a dime in their lives. Everyone knew he was talking about Nick Aldis. Production was screaming in people's headsets to cut to commercial. Triple H was reportedly rushing to guerrilla position to shut it down. But Punk kept going, kept burying the people who sign his paychecks, kept exposing the chaos behind the scenes to millions of viewers. When he finally finished and walked to the back, Nick Aldis was waiting for him in Gorilla. And that's when everything exploded. Quick question for the comments. Have you ever seen a shoot promo that went further than CM Punk's last night? Name it below because I'm trying to think of comparisons. The confrontation between Aldis and Punk started verbal but got physical fast. Aldis allegedly grabbed Punk's arm and said, "We need to talk right now," in a tone that left no room for negotiation. Punk jerked his arm away and told Aldis that if he touched him again, there would be consequences. Then one of the producers, trying to de-escalate, stepped between them. His name is Marcus Chun, a 15-year veteran of WWE production who was literally just trying to keep the peace. CM Punk shoved him so hard that Marcus fell backwards into an equipment rack, hitting his head on a metal case. He's got a concussion and possibly a fractured skull. That should have ended it. That act of violence against a non-wrestler employee should have resulted in immediate termination or arrest. But Punk wasn't done. Two other producers rushed over to check on Marcus and tried to restrain Punk. He fought them off, throwing wild punches that connected with both men. One took a shot to the jaw that knocked out 2 teeth. The other got an elbow to the temple that opened a gash requiring 12 stitches. 3 people injured. 3 employees who were just doing their jobs, trying to maintain order, trying to protect the integrity of the show. And CM Punk hurt all of them because he couldn't handle being told he did something wrong. Security finally arrived and created a barrier between Punk and everyone else. But instead of calming down, instead of realizing how far he'd crossed the line, Punk saw the production truck parked nearby and decided to send a message. He grabbed a steel chair from ringside and went to town on that truck. Smashed every monitor, every control panel, every piece of equipment he could reach. Thousands of dollars in damage, maybe tens of thousands. The crew inside had to evacuate because glass was flying everywhere and Punk was swinging that chair like he was trying to kill the truck itself. Answer me this in the comments. At what point does CM Punk's behavior go from standing up for himself to unacceptable violence? Where's your line? By the time Punk finished destroying the production truck, Triple H had finally made it to the scene. And here's where the real betrayal happens, where Nick Aldis's fate gets sealed. Triple H didn't confront Punk, didn't demand an explanation, didn't even raise his voice. He walked up to Punk, put a hand on his shoulder, and quietly said, "Go home, we'll deal with this tomorrow." Then he let CM Punk walk out of the building while 3 injured employees were being treated by medical staff. Nick Aldis was standing right there watching this happen, watching Triple H protect Punk while ignoring the carnage he'd caused. And Aldis made a choice that ended his WWE career. He confronted Triple H directly. In front of everyone still at Gorilla, Aldis said, "If you don't fire him right now, I'm done. I can't work in a company where stars get away with assaulting employees. This is everything wrong with wrestling." Triple H stared at him for a long moment, then said, "Then I guess you're done." Just like that. For months of the vision, for months of creative success, for months of loyalty to Triple H's philosophy, ended in 5 words because Aldis demanded accountability. Within an hour, Nick Aldis was escorted out of the building by security. His office was cleared. His access credentials were deactivated. And an internal memo went out announcing that the Vision Creative Initiative was being restructured, which is corporate speak for completely eliminated. Here's what makes this absolutely infuriating. Triple H is framing Aldis as the problem. Word is leaking from WWE sources that Aldis was too rigid, that he couldn't adapt to WWE culture, that his management style created unnecessary conflict. They're blaming the victim. They're rewriting history to make it seem like Nick Aldis failed, when the truth is he was the only person with enough integrity to stand up to CM Punk's out-of-control behavior. Comment your honest opinion. Was Nick Aldis right to give Triple H that ultimatum, or should he have played politics and kept his job? The locker room is in absolute chaos right now. Wrestlers are taking sides, some publicly and others behind closed doors. A group led by Seth Rollins is reportedly demanding a meeting with Triple H to discuss what happened. They want to know if assaulting employees is now acceptable behavior for top stars. They want to know if creative direction even matters anymore or if it's just whoever has the most leverage doing whatever they want. On the other side, there's a faction that believes CM Punk was justified. They argue that WWE management has been suppressing talent voices for decades, that someone needed to take a stand, that Punk's actions were extreme but necessary to force change. They're both right and both wrong, and that's what makes this situation so volatile. The 3 injured producers are considering legal action. Marcus Chen's family has already retained a lawyer. They're not just looking at CM Punk, they're looking at WWE for allowing a hostile work environment and failing to protect employees. If this goes to court, Discovery is going to expose every ugly detail of how that night was handled. And CM Punk? He posted on social media this morning. One sentence. The audacity, the absolute arrogance to position himself as some kind of revolutionary when he put 3 people in the hospital and cost another man his job. And his fans are eating it up, treating him like a hero who stood up to the machine. But here's what those fans aren't considering. Nick Aldis had a family. He relocated across the country for this job. He turned down offers from other companies because he believed in Triple H's vision for WWE. And now he's unemployed because CM Punk has anger management issues and Triple H values star power over human decency. The vision is dead. For months of careful planning, strategic storytelling, roster development, all thrown away because one man couldn't follow basic professional standards. Every wrestler who bought into that philosophy, who changed their approach to fit the vision's framework, just got betrayed. Quick poll. Will SmackDown be better or worse now that the vision is gone? Drop your prediction below. Triple H released a statement 3 hours ago that's so corporate and meaningless it's offensive. He thanked Nick Aldis for his contributions and said WWE is exploring new creative directions that better align with our current roster dynamics. Not one word about the assault. Not one word about accountability. Not one word about whether CM Punk faces any consequences. The message is clear. If you're valuable enough, you can do whatever you want. And if you're not, you're disposable. This isn't just about CM Punk or Nick Aldis anymore. This is about what kind of company WWE wants to be. Do they want to be a place where creative vision and professional standards matter? Or do they want to be a place where chaos reigns and the biggest names write their own rules? Based on today's decisions, we have our answer. Social media is absolutely exploding. Nick Aldis's name has been trending for 6 hours straight. Wrestling journalists are scrambling to get quotes from anyone who witnessed what happened. Former WWE talent are speaking out about their own experiences with preferential treatment for top stars. This is becoming bigger than wrestling. This is a conversation about workplace safety, about corporate responsibility, about whether fame exempts people from basic human decency. Here's my final question for you, and I really want to see your answers. Can you still support WWE after this? Can you still watch SmackDown knowing that the vision was destroyed and Nick Aldis was fired for demanding accountability? Drop your honest feelings below. The wrestling business has always had a dark side. We know this, but usually that darkness stays hidden, gets revealed in documentaries 20 years later when everyone's retired and the statute of limitations has expired. What happened with CM Punk, Nick Aldis, and Triple H is happening in real time, and we all have to decide how we feel about it. CM Punk will probably be on TV next week. He'll cut another promo, get massive reactions, move merchandise. The machine will keep rolling because that's what it does. But 3 producers are dealing with injuries that might have lasting effects. Nick Aldis is job hunting after being publicly humiliated. And the vision, which actually meant something to wrestlers who wanted their work to matter, is just gone. Triple H made his choice. He chose CM Punk over Nick Aldis. He chose star power over structure. He chose short-term ratings over long-term creative integrity. And now we all have to live with the consequences of that choice. Share this video if you think Nick Aldis deserved better. Share it if you think Triple H made the wrong call. Share it if you think wrestling needs to be better than this. Because silence is acceptance, and what happened yesterday should not be accepted. The vision is dead. Long live chaos. I guess that's where we are now. What happens next is anyone's guess. But one thing's for certain. WWE will never be the same after today. The precedent has been set. The message has been sent. And Nick Aldis paid the price for believing that principles mattered more than politics. Comment, share, subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going because it's too important.